Kurt Helin, NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network, which you can listen at NBCSportsRadio.com, joins us to break down that pivotal Game 2 tonight. Kurt, welcome back.
Thanks for having me on.
Would you say pivotal or not so much? Boston hasn't won a road game yet this playoff year, so is tonight a pivotal game?
Pivotal might be a strong. I mean, it's an important game for Philadelphia to at least make it as close again, and if they can steal one, then they're in the back, obviously in the driver's seat. But even if they lose two, I think they're the more talented team. I think they're capable of running off a series of wins in a row. But they need to have a better showing and gain a lot of confidence, knock down some of the shots, and not feel as rushed as they did in Game 1. Even when they got clean looks, they just missed them, and they looked a little rushed by the Boston defense. And I think they just need to settle down into their defensive sets a little better because, again, Boston is a disciplined team that's going to exploit the mismatches and advantages they have. And they've got some more this isn't Miami. This is a more talented team with Al Horford and Jason Tatum and stuff.
What do you think the number one adjustment that Brett Brown needs to make watching game number 1?
Don't play J.J. Redick and Marco Bellinelli together much. Honestly, they were able to switch into that, and that's one of the things that they were able to do to get Jason Tatum really going downhill. I'm just not sure you can play that combo together against this team. We'll see if maybe I'm wrong on that one, but I think that's something you're going to see less of. They were trying to keep Simmons off of Tatum in a way so he could be a free safety. He could get out there and help and attack off of Marcus Smart, who's not really a huge offensive threat. That plan didn't work, so you scrap it and you go to Plan B, and you move. You've got to do something to slow Tatum down. And, yes, there's going to be switches and all that stuff, but I think you've got to start with putting him in tougher spots.
Kurt Helin's with us here at the Sixers and Celtics Game 2 tonight, 8:30, tip-off, 97.3 ESPN. The one thing it looked like, Kurt, was the Celtics were pretty content on allowing the Sixers to just feed the ball to Embiid down low, give him his 2, and then they were going to trade off for 3. Is that a strategy that could continue to work if you're not hitting 3?
Yes, if you're missing your threes, it can work. And also, I think that the Sixers, it took them out of some of the things that they want to do and like to do, but I think they'll be better prepared for it tonight. It's kind of Jordan rules, right? It's hey, I'm going to let Michael Jordan get 60. I don't care. I just can't let him start dishing to Pippen and Horace Grant and Wally Kerr and Steve Kerr, all the other guys on that team. It's sort of that version of it, and they're not the only team to do it in the playoffs, but it was really effective. I think part of that, though, is then Embiid's got to have a big game. I mean, yes, you've got to do that to set them up. They're not going to probably come off of that and double him, but if you're not going to do that, then you have got to make them pay. It's honestly, that's what they did with LeBron James in Toronto, right? I mean, they left OG Anunoby on him and said, all right, LeBron, go off. We're going to single cover you, and the problem is they didn't stop anybody else.
Right.
Corver went off, and J.R. Smith. It's an effective strategy, but you can't let the other guys get going. I don't know if Boston's going to be able to do that as consistently in this series.
Now, we saw some Horford, 6'10", with Ben Simmons. If that's the matchup again, what do the Sixers need to do to kind of try to combat that? Because we have seen Simmons, when there has been bigger defenders on him, struggle a little bit.
Yeah, and Al Horford is an underrated player, frankly, in general, and a defender. He can defend you. He can defend somebody like Embiid fairly well in the post. I mean, he's going to get a little overpowered by someone like that, but he can bang down there. But he's really mobile and long, and he's just smart athletically and pushing you to help. So it isn't an ideal situation, especially because Simmons just can't shoot over the top of him.
Right.
They'll let him have that all day. He's going to have to kind of attack in there, and then again, as that attack comes, try to find the shooters, try to find the other guys rolling the spots. It's going to be about his vision and that passing that's so phenomenal, as much as it is just his ability to occasionally get around or over and score on Horford, because that's just not going to be that easy. Horford's I don't know if he's going to make the all-defensive team this year, but he might. I mean, he's that good.
We'll see Jaylen Brown, what kind of factor that is. Obviously, wasn't much of a factor in Game 1. When you shoot 48% from three-point range, it doesn't quite matter who's playing, does it?
It doesn't. They will miss him defensively, though, over the course of the season. He is another switchable, long, athletic defender that they can throw out there. So I don't think – I keep hearing he's probably not going in Game 2. They're wisely taking the long plan here. I mean, much like – look, this is the matchup that is going to be for supremacy in the East over the next at least 4 or 5 years, with Giannis trying to stick his head into that argument if they hire a good coach.
Right.
But this is a matchup we're going to see for a while, and both of these teams think long term. If you're Boston, as good as you've been this year, you're playing with house money at this point. I would rather rest Jaylen Brown and have him healthy so he can improve his game and work out in the off season than bring him back trying to win a game here. They're going to err on the side of caution.
That Game 2 is tonight, 8:30, 97.3 ESPN has it. Also, Cavs and Raptors Game 2. The Raptors don't typically win Game 1s, but they typically never beat Cleveland. So everybody says, same old Raptors. Is this the same old Raptors, or do you feel that they will rebound tonight?
Yeah, ask me again at halftime. Honestly, I think we're going to learn really quickly. And not really quickly. We're going to learn in this game how mentally strong these Raptors really are. Do they have some Utah Jazz in them where they're just a mentally strong team that doesn't fold, or not? Because that was a punch to the gut. We'll go with gut for radio. A punch to a painful area kind of game. And
Kurt, they looked every bit as defeated walking off that floor. I mean, they looked like they lost the series.
They did. And do they bounce back from that? They're the better team. This is not a great Cleveland team.
Right.
But I don't know how they bounce back. If they win this game, it's a series. I've picked them in 7. I'd stick with that. But they have got to show me something tonight. We will find out tonight if they're the same old Raptors. Because if they lose this one, it's over.
Kurt Helin is with us. Jazz win. Any concern for Houston?
A little. I think they missed some shots. I think that they were not as dialed in. And by the way, the Jazz are good. The Jazz play much like Boston. Man, they are a system team, but they've got talent within it. They are going to be well coached and exploit your mistakes. And if you're not dialed in, if you're not focused, and in their case, Houston's case, they missed some shots they normally make. If that happens, they're going to beat you, and that's a series now. I mean, it goes back to you. It's going back to Utah, where they can slow it down and grind a little more and get a few calls that they don't think they got in last game. This is going to be a battle. Houston's going to have to earn it.
Kurt Helin's with us. By the way, Curry will start Game 3. Do you have one guess who will be the Knicks head coach?
David Fizdale's the hot name right now. It's going to be him or Budenholzer, and I'll say this. They want to get it done fast because the Bucks are ramping up their coaching search, and that's the job everybody actually wants.
All right. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network. Listen at NBCSportsRadio.com. Thank you, Kurt.
Take care.